ask you and I to finish strong, and I want you to watch this horse race.
Ready to go for this tremendous Belmont Stakes. Everybody's in line, and they're off. Looks like the early lead goes to My Gallant. Yes, My Gallant going for the lead with Twice the Prince on the outside. Secretariat away very well, has good position on the rail, and in fact is now going up with the leader. They're moving for the first turn. It is Secretariat. Sham on the outside is also moving along strongly, and now it's Sham. Sham and Secretariat are right together into the first turn. My Gallant has third behind them. Then it's Twice the Prince, and the trailer is Private Smiles as they go by the turn. Those two together, Sham on the outside. Sham getting ahead in front as they move around the turn with Secretariat second. Then there's a large gap. Make it 8 lengths back to My Gallant in third and Twice the Prince fourth. And Private Smiles is still the trailer. They're on the backstretch. It's almost a match race now. Secretariat's on the inside, by ahead. Sham is on the outside. They've opened 10 lengths on My Gallant, who is third by ahead, with Twice the Prince fourth. Then it's another 8 lengths back to Private Smiles, who is trailing the field. They continue down the backstretch, and that's Secretariat now taking the lead. He's got it by about a length and a half. Still Sham, 10 lengths back. My Gallant, Twice the Prince. They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. He looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3 and a half. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Sham is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallant and Twice the Prince. They're on the turn, and Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 109 and 4/5. Secretariat is brightening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today. As My Gallant and Twice the Prince are both coming up to him now. The Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 1/6 of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Twice the Prince is taken second. And My Gallant is moved back to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be Twice the Prince second.
What you just watched was the horse Secretariat. How many ever watched that movie by Disney, Secretariat? This horse overcame a lot of things. First Triple Crown winner in 25 years, 1973. Won the Derby, set a record for a time there. Won the Preakness, and then run the Belmont. He was called affectionately Big Red. He was a chestnut. He was beautiful. And the horse that was closest to him in these 3 races was a horse called Sham. Sham had a trainer and some people that were very loud with what they said about their horse. And you're always going to have a Sham, somebody trying to keep you from winning big. The reason I showed that today is because I wanted you to understand the heart of finishing, and not just finishing barely, but putting a beat down. How many knows that was a beat down? The announcer had to apologize because he had it wrong. It wasn't 25 lengths, it was 31 lengths. And as Ronnie Turcotte, the jockey, came to the finish line, they got a picture of him looking back, seeing how far back everybody is. I wonder what went in his mind when he looked back and saw them 31 lengths back. I wonder what he thought. I wonder what the devil's going to think when he sees you looking back at him as you finish your life strong, as your family finishes strong, as the church rises up in the last days. And I wonder what the devil, the shame and the sham of the devil's going to think when we look back and go, you lousy liar. He lived 16 more years. He was owned by the Cheney family out of Virginia. And there's a story to it you saw if you saw the movie. I would encourage you to watch the movie. But he died at 19 years of age. And he died October the 4th, 1989. For whatever reason, the family wanted to have an autopsy on a horse. Now, I'm not by no means comparing you to a horse. That was God's creation. That's a horse. You're God's sons and daughters. There's a big difference. Amen. But I want to tell you something. They did an autopsy, and the lead vet that was on the autopsy, when they began to grow into the chest cavity, they said he stopped and he goes, oh my God. He looked around, he looked at the other people assisting him, and said, I've never seen anything like this. The average heart of a thoroughbred weighs 8 to 8.5 pounds. I could hold it in both hands. Secretariat's heart weighed 22 pounds. Secretariat's heart was 2.5 to 2 2/3 larger than the average horse. And there was no abnormalities, there was no problems, there was nothing wrong. The valves were perfect, both sides of the heart were perfect, everything was perfect. And the reason he could run like he run is no one knew how big his heart was. The reason when you get to the Belmont and all trainers would back their horses off, that's the longest race in the Triple Crown, is because they worried about their endurance. These people worked out Secretariat even harder. When you think it's harder in these days God has you, there's a great finish ahead for you where you can look back and say, well, devil, you're not only defeated, but I thumped you pretty good today. I want to encourage you as I leave today that the heart on the inside of you is way bigger than you realize. The capacity on the inside of you to love and live and believe God is way larger because of Jesus Christ. I won't leave here saying you have a horse's heart, but I'll say you have the heart of a finisher of Jesus Christ. And I want to encourage you individually as a church that as we move forward, you're going to see opportunity to win in capacity more than you've ever seen in your life. Trust God, trust in faith, focus on what He has you to do. Don't be distracted. Get your fight on and let's finish and let's have a beat down and let's look back and see how far behind all those other things were. Amen. Would you pray?